Well, welcome back to Fred's Shed. Same Vauxhall Zafira B. It's a 2009, and what we're looking to do today is to replace the tie rod end. So what we've had to do, obviously got it jacked up, we got the wheel off, and they're 17mm nuts. Obviously loosen them before you raise the car, otherwise you'll have to put it back down again. When you've got the car up, we're just on the off side, the passenger side of the car, and when you have it up in the air, makes it a lot easier to deal with this tie rod end. If you turn the steering full lock clockwise, that'll put that out rather than having to work in behind to get it. Now this one, as you can see, it's split on the rubber, and that would make like a rattle, tinny noise, and a lot of squeaking as well. When taking off the tie rod end, because it is for the tracking of the vehicle as well, this nut, which is a 22, adjusts the camber on the steering, on the wheel. So what you need to do is, before you open it, put a lock of tape around it so that you know where the bolt or where the nut should be. Once you've that done, before you take this out, crack this open. Now it will be as tough as get out, but with a bit of good pressure, you have to turn it clockwise that way as you're looking at it. Okay, this is not anti-clockwise, lefty-loosey, and on this one it's righty-loosey. Once you have that loosened enough that it can be moved by a spanner, I'm just using an adjustable, but you can see there. Okay, what you need to do then is the bolt on the bottom of the tie rod end. I'll show you the new one. That's the new one, and that is running at a 19mm bolt, nut on that. Ideally you would have a tool that resembles a fork that will go in here, and you pop it up once you've taken the bolt out. If you don't have that, well, some will recommend that you get a bit of a lump hammer and tap that a couple of times. It should loosen this. If it doesn't, well, then you put the nut back on like I have, and that hammer wasn't enough to do it, so I had to use that, a lump hammer. 3 belts and it came up, so I'll be able then to just get the nut off. So the mess of the nut once I hit it. But the nuts on, the bolts I should say, they're self-locking, so they have the rubber bit on the inside, and that locks onto the thread, so it doesn't need any thread lock glue on it. It'll hold itself in place with that. And then that's it free. We should hopefully be able to then go this way about it. And again, not again, but this, as you're looking at it, turns anti-clockwise, so lefty-loosey, and that's off. So I can see better light how destroyed that was. I know I'd been running on it for a few weeks, so just before I got the part for it, but you can see on the inside there. That's the ball joint, so all the grease was getting dirty and just non-serviceable. Into the recyclers with that. And then to put on the new tie rod end, we're just going to go gently because you don't want to cross the threads on the rod. If you did that, you'd have bother. You'd be replacing more than the tie rod end. So you just want to go slowly up to the nut. And once you're just about at the nut, then maybe looking at getting it back into its position there. One more turn. No, go back one. And that leaves me enough to tighten it now. Now, even though you put the tape on, you know where the nut is. You'll probably find that the steering will go to one side when you're driving. Now, not a lot, but it'll always be advisable to get the tracking done on the car at a proper garage. Obviously, I don't have the tools nor equipment to do that, so you'll see on this, it's a narrow where the screws stop. It widens up, and it's that thickened bit of the shaft that falls into the hole. I need to pull it back. Steering arm there. Once I get that sitting right, I'll just get the nut, the bolt onto the screw, and it'll draw it down through the arm there. So it'll, just by tightening it. If you feel it hasn't sat down properly, what you would need to do is to, with the likes of a brake bar, is to get it in under there and just to put pressure on it, just to get the, and as you force that down, it'll then put more pressure so that you're able then to just get the nut finally tightened on it. So I'll just get this in place now, need two hands. Okay, so I've just got it sitting in there, up to the rubbers, and then we're getting the nut on. And it's there, and it's a 19. Just get the socket, the ratchet. Shaky there, sorry. As this comes up to meet it, it should just start to draw the ball joint into position. Now the ball joint, as I said, if it starts to swivel, if it's not going to just sit in to it right, I'll need to put that bar on it. There's about 2-3 threads through, so if I tighten it more, there's 9 more threads. It's tightened nicely there now. I don't think I'll need the pressure on it. There isn't a Newton meter measurement for this, it's just as tight until you can't get it no more. Make it hard for the next person to get off, which more likely to be myself. So with that in place, then all we need to do is to tighten up our nut here. So to tighten that, then we're going to be going anti-clockwise just to draw it into the tie rod end. What I've done as well, just as a backup to the tape, is I've measured from where it was sitting originally up to the first point of that gaiter. So whatever measurement you have on it, you can check it again after, and then you'll know that's back into the same position it was, and hopefully avoid the need for a full tracking. And so there we are, tie rod end replaced, and I already see the next job to do, which will be this. That strut needs to be changed there, but I have seen on the other side, the strut on the other side, the bottom rubber is gone on it, so I will be replacing the two of them at the same time. Right, well, that's it for the tie rod end replacement on the Vauxhall Zafira B 2009. Any comments, happy to hear them. Any likes, happy for those too. And if you want to ask a question, by all means, if I can get around to answering them, I will. Cheers from Fred Shed.